So I haven't been online, um, and I received a bunch of emails from you guys that I will to respond to on time. I tried to respond to those that I could starting yesterday, but yeah, sorry about if you send me an email and you haven't received any response. It's because I was really sick. So if you have any questions about anything, you can ask me today, or you can come to my office hours, um, or you can send me an email, and I'll try to get back to you from now on. Any question before we get started? Okay, so we are already on week 6, and for those of you guys who are attending lab regularly, it's really great because we are almost over. We got like 3 more weeks to go, and then for those who have attended uh, all of the sections, you're gonna earn your extra credit, which is, it could be really helpful for your final grade in this class. So today we don't have much to do as far as um, SPSS goes, so we're not going to do SPSS that much. We have 2 articles that I want you guys, you should have read it by now, but I'm just going to assume that you haven't had the chance. So I want you guys to, let me go ahead and share my screen. There are a few things that I wanted to share with you before we go on. I actually sent an announcement right now on the Canvas page. Um, this is our Canvas page. So if you go under announcement, you will see, hopefully you can see my announcement today. We have our exercise 4, the self-esteem survey due, and it's due in the lab. This is something that we worked on last time. And you guys created your survey. So hopefully you guys have read the overview and everything that Dr. Laufren shared on the lecture page. So exercise 4 is due today in the lab. So I created an assignment for each of you. So it's, last time we had a representative who wrote it down, but for submission to earn points for this exercise, every single one of you has to submit this to earn your points. So make sure that you submit the self-esteem survey that we worked on, and I had some comments. Hopefully you guys paid attention to those and you updated your survey. So once you open it up, mine looks different. So hopefully it has a submit button that you can go ahead and submit. One thing to keep in mind, it needs to be typed. So you can upload whether a Word document or a PDF, anything that I can open it up and read it. And but don't send me a screenshot of your handwriting. Okay. So that's what I wanted to mention. It says it's due in the lab, but I left the deadline open till 11:59 p.m. So just in case, for those who have not submitted or who needs more time to type it up, you can go ahead and type and submit yours by the end of today, 11:59 p.m. So that's for exercise number 4. And then another assignment for lab credit. This was for the lecture credit. To earn today's lab under lab 2, under assignment, you have week 6 submission. If you click on week 6, we are going to work on a application right now. that it will gives you. It's something we worked on last about 2-3 weeks ago too. So it should be familiar. After you do the exercise, it's going to give you a 13-digit experimental ID. And this is a new experimental ID that you're going to have. It's different than the one that you had previously. And I want you to submit a screenshot of that page that gives you the 13-digit experimental ID. And this is also, you have to do it by 11:59 by the end of today to earn your extra credit for the lab. Any questions, any concerns? So 2 things that you have to submit. One is this, the week 6 submission for extra credit, the 13-digit that I'm going to show you exactly step by step how to get this towards the end of the lab. And then also exercise number 4, the survey that you should have and developed for the exercise number 4. And you have to submit this in the lab to earn credit. Again, I left the deadline open till 11:59.
I have a question.
It has to be typed. Yes.
So for the surveys, as of right now, all we were supposed to do was just send them out with our referral codes.
I'm sorry, can you repeat your question one more time?
So for the surveys, like as of right now, the only thing that we were supposed to do is just send them, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So there's one question in the chat section. Is exercise 4 the one we did last week? Yes, for the lab. Yes. So it's exercise number 4. So if you go on the Canvas page, we worked on to create the survey, but it gives you the exact detail of what you have to submit for exercise number 4, which is due today. You can go back to the Canvas page and to see what exactly you have to submit or get more information. Any other questions that I can help?
So how exactly are we submitting it? Is it as a link or a file we upload? Or do we just copy and paste what we wrote down and put into the text box and submit?
So you need to submit what we had worked on. You can type it up, you can PDF it, you can type it in document, Word document or anything like that.
All right, thank you.
Okay, all right. Any other question? Again, this is the part that we did in the lab last time that I want you guys to submit. And we did a survey. I'm trying to think just to make it easier for you guys. So since this is the lab exercise that we did, I don't want everyone to submit it. So maybe this helps a little. So you don't have to submit it. Everyone, let's do this. The person that worked on this, the representative, among your group, you can decide. One of you guys can submit your updated survey with everyone name on it. Would that be easier for you guys or no? Because I'm not sure if you guys typed it out. I'm trying to make it easier for you guys. So if you want, you can submit it by yourself, or you can ask your representative to submit it for you. But the thing that I want to see, I need to see everyone's name on the top of the page that in your group that worked on. If that's easier for you guys, I think that's easier. Because I was thinking that if every one of you guys wanted, it's too much work for you. So you can ask your representative to submit the survey. Would that be easier?
Yeah,
Would you guys
because
agree with this?
yeah, because I was just wondering, like,
Okay.
since every single person submits their own, but if we put that on a group, there'd be a lot of, I guess, like similarities
Yeah,
between, and it would look like plagiarism, even though we did work on
exactly.
it together. Yeah. So
Yeah.
okay.
So yeah, that would work too. So if your representative or whoever that you decide among yourself, just submit it. I know you did something like this last week too, so it's similar to that. You just have to submit it. Okay. Any questions? And then if you go to the actual Canvas page for the lecture, you can see that if you go, I think it was under week 7, hopefully, nope, the previous one, week 6, you can see the updated version of how many people has submitted using your code, your referral code that you had. So let me see. So this is the referral code by 7 p.m. by yesterday. And if you open it up, you can see, so for example, Aish had, you can see the number of people that use her code, or for example, for Ashley, you can see how many people took the survey using your code, and to see if you hit your 10 people limit for this exercise. So that's something else that you can take a look. And okay, that's all that I wanted to cover for this exercise. Is there any question, concern, comments that I can help with? Okay, so for this week exercise, you guys have had the chance to read the article HMO, um, evaluation of health, maintenance, and organization. Let me go ahead and share my screen. So yep. So this article, let's see, where did it go? So you guys can see, hopefully, my article. Again, let me know if there was any problem on my end so I can fix it. So this is a fictional article. This is not true. The information on it, it's not accurate, or they don't hold true. It just for the practice purposes. So you might want to pay attention to this because it looks similar to, you might get some question like this on the test. So it's important that you have some background exercise or practice once we get to the fictional article. So again, the data or the purpose of this research is that so you can read it and come up with the shortage or the problem or the conflicts that comes along your reading. So as you go through the study or the readings, you can notice different things about this article that doesn't hold true, or it's short, or it doesn't make sense, or it needs to be more clear. For example, and then for example, for sample size, for example, the method, the conclusion, or the results, or the subjects that they they tested. They send out this survey and ask different subjects, and there are problems with different parts of this fictional research. And I want you guys, I'll give you guys a few minutes at the beginning before I divide you guys into the groups to really make sure that you understand this article, you know what's about, and you try to understand the hypothesis and the questions that they try to answer. It's a short paper, so it's about 2.5 pages. And then at the end, you have the results, you have the discussion. If you remember towards the beginning, I showed you guys how to study the research paper fast. So you take a look at the beginning, the abstracts, and then you look at the results and the discussion, and if you had time, a little about method and what they did and how they did. Okay, so I'll give you guys about 15 to 20 minutes to really read this and understand what the paper is about, and try to take a note, keep a note on the side that on the conflicts that you think it stands out, and that you have a suggestion or something. And then I'll divide you guys, you read it into your groups, and we're going to take about 15-20 minutes after that. And then I'll give each group about 1 or 2 or 3 areas that I want you guys to study and come up with the problems or the issues that this paper has on those areas. For example, give group number 1. I'll tell you guys to, for example, I'll give you guys a sample, and in that area, I want you guys to read and come up with, problems or issues that that subject or sample, size or anything about sample has that you think, it could be improved, or it doesn't make sense, or what have you. Okay, so for now, I just want you guys to read this paper, give you guys 15 minutes or so, everyone has an idea of what's going on, and then we're gonna come back and work together. Any questions, any concerns?
I don't
Yes.
know if it's just me, but when I go on like the website, like the Canvas, it said like the material is locked and I can't download it or view it.
It should be open now. Did you try it right now?
Let me try one more time. No, it's
still locked.
Is it still locked?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Reading critic. HMO. Are you on the lecture website? Yeah. It is open for me. Let me see. So you guys are under week 6 overview?
Yeah.
So let's do it together. Yeah. Share my canvas. Is this the case for everyone? Is there anyone else that was able to open it up? So if you scroll down, for example, for the HMO critics or evaluation, it is open for me. So is this the case for everyone, or just few people?
I think it's.
Can you guys try? Go to the Canvas page, try to open up the HMO.
Yeah, it's still locked.
Okay. So what we can do, I'll email Dr. Laughran right now, and she's gonna open it soon. What we can do is that I can open it on my page and share my screen, so you guys can take a screenshot of it, or so for the zoom in purposes, if you want to make it bigger or something. Until we can get access to it. Okay. Share screen. Okay. So guys, let's take about 15 minutes. And then after 6 minutes, I'll try to scroll down. Okay. All right. Sure. You can see this, right? All good?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's take 5 more minutes to get the introduction down, and then I'll scroll down to the method and so on. Okay,
Okay, oh, okay.
guys, I think you can now download it on the Canvas page. You can go ahead and give it a try to see if it's unlocked for you. Okay, guys, let's take about 10 more minutes to finish it up. Okay. Did everyone had a chance to read it? Get a main idea of what's going on, what it is that they're discussing? Yeah. Okay. So now, if you go, let me stop the share. Actually, the new share. So if you go on the actual Canvas page and you open up the first link, it says reading critiques. If you open that up, you will be able to see a general instructions for reading this paper. So I summarized the paper. It says, this article is not a real articles. There are flaws that built into it intentionally, and it's for you for exercise purposes, and for you to be able to read a upper division article and be able to criticize it, to be able to understand, to think about it, to come up with questions and everything that you can challenge the idea or the hypothesis or even the discussion or the results that they are providing. And this is basically what all scientists does. They try to replicate the idea and they try to question it. They try to challenge it to see if the theory or the hypothesis is falsifiable. They can reject it or not. And some of the questions that you might ask yourself while you're reading or discussing it with your classmates, to really understand, come up with any flaws or any shortcoming for this, paper. You can ask questions like, what is the question for the research? What is the hypothesis? Was it clearly stated? Or, does the abstract relay the information, or does it give us enough background information about the method or the subjects and what have you. The key terms, the terms that they are talking about that revolve around the research, are they well defined and explained, that what they are to their audience. And question like this, you might ask, what is the dependent variable? What is the independent variable? Are there any independent variable? Because the studies need to have some sort of independent and dependent variable to be studied. And what about the control groups? Are there control groups? Is there placebo effects? What about, is there a correlation? Because we know the correlation is not necessarily the results of causation. You talk about, you can discuss whether the discussion is reasonable based on the data that they got, or the things that we talked about, that is important for psychology majors. Is this a significant correlation? Is this in the standard deviation or in the normal distribution? Where does it stand? The data that they collected, is this below 0.05? Is this it could be above 0.05, the number of the sample that they collected, and so on and so forth. And also the citations, the towards the end of the paper, what sources are they citing? Are those sources important or relevant to what they are discussing in the paper, and how they mention them in the text? So these are some sort of some of the questions that I want you guys to keep in mind when you read that or discuss it with your groups. And to be, or in order to be able to understand the flaws, or come up with questions that you can challenge this article. So now I will be, again, these paper that I went over, you can find them on Canvas. It's open now. You can download them to your computer. And so what we're gonna do now, we're gonna take about 20 minutes or so. I want you guys, I'll divide you guys into the groups. I want you guys to discuss this paper, and I'll give each groups a different field or different area to read, and come up critics that you have, criticism that you have about that area. So let me go ahead and prepare. Let me see how many of we 12. So let's do 2 groups of 6 people. And again, we're gonna follow our same routine. A representative, or you can choose more than one representative. There are multiple people from your groups can talk. Let's see, create. So same routine. For group 1, which include Aish, Fidel, Gazelle, Motana, and Victoria. These are the 5 people for group number 1. So the area that I want you guys to focus on is, let me go ahead and share my PowerPoint that I have here. PowerPoint, share. Okay, so hopefully you can see my PowerPoint. For group 1, I want you guys to focus on the sample, come up with anything that could be done better, or the flaws, or anything that stands out to you that seems like a problem, or it has some role of skewing the result. So the sample that they examined or sent out the survey to. The second field or area that I want you guys to focus is the construction of scale items. Okay, how they scale their data, and the items, the question on the survey, and also the third one, the reliability of the scale. How reliable is the scale? So these are the 3 areas. You can go back and read the paper one more time, so you can focus, highlight, and you can share with the class, and we're going to elaborate as you share. So group 1, the sample, the construction of scale items, and the reliability of the scale. So this 3 question is for group number 1, and the remaining is for group number 2. I want you guys to focus on the area of the validity of the scale, how valid and how much they hold true based on the data that they collect. The analysis and the interpretation of the result, I want you guys to analyze and understand the result, and tell us if the result makes sense based on the method and the data that they collect, if it stands true, and if it's falsifiable, and so on and so forth. And also I want you guys to focus on ethics. Ethics was a subject that we covered about 2 or 3 lab session ago. And I want you guys to discuss and come up with some answers. There are more than one correct answer to each one of this. So, there are lists actually that you can do for each one of them. So we're gonna take about 20 minutes. Right now it's 3:55. We're gonna take till 4:20. And I want you guys to discuss this really together. And after that, we're gonna come back together and we will share our answers. So let me go ahead and stop the share. And let me go ahead and open the rooms. Any question before uh, I open the rooms?
So just to double check, room 2 is for the validity of the scale down.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So let me go ahead and share. So you can, you might want to write this question down or take a picture of it so you don't forget. I'm not sure if you see my page after I put you guys into the groups, but just in case. So group number 1, you have to focus on the sample, the constructions of scale items, and the reliability of the scale. Group number 2 answers the last 3 questions. The value of scale, the validity of scale, the analysis and interpretation of the results, and also talk about ethics. Okay. So go ahead and write this down or take a picture of them with your phone. Let's see if I can open the room from here. No. Okay, I'm gonna stop the share. All right, and I'll open up the rooms. So right now it's 3:57. Let's take about 20-25 minutes. Till 4:25. Open. All right, go ahead and share. Go ahead and join the groups.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a quick question. For assignment 4, how would we submit
Yes.
for assignment 4 on Canvas?
Say it again.
For assignment 4, how would we submit it on Canvas?
So for assignment 4, either you were part of a group last time in the lab. So we chose a representative. So the people in the group that work together, they they wrote down the name that they worked on the survey, and they will submit it through Canvas. So, but if you haven't, we created a survey for self-esteem, and if you go on Canvas, let me go ahead and share my screen. If you were in a group and you have a representative, you don't have to do that. But if you missed last time last session lab that we went over the surveys, you still can do it. You have till 11:59 tonight. So you go to the lab Canvas page. Let me go ahead and show you. So if you go to the Canvas page, you go to Psych 112 LM Lab 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go under assignments. And under assignment, you can see exercise 4, self-esteem survey. And yours, it's going to look different. So you have a submit button, and you can go ahead and submit your survey here.
For some reason, for my Canvas, it doesn't
Okay.
say anywhere I could submit.
Let's see. So if I do student view, yeah, I gotta fix it. I think is this the case for the other one too? Let me see. Announcement. Week 6 submission. Is this the same thing for week 6 submissions for today's lab? You
Uh,
don't see any submit button?
let me check real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see a submit button.
Okay. Yeah, I'll fix it. I'll take care of it. So it should be open. Give me a few minutes. But you have till 11:59 to submit it.
Oh, okay. And what would I be typing out exactly for
Okay.
exercise 4?
So if you go to the lecture page, Canvas, there is a exercise 4 overview that it tells you exactly. So we created a survey to understand, about, UCI student and how they view self-esteem, and we wanted to understand the self-esteem um, for uh, for people, or students, I should say, that they enrolled as students in UCI. So we want to understand. We want to conduct a survey to really understand how people think and value self-esteem and how it might affect our behavior, our personality, the way we talk, and so on and so forth. So we created. It depends on you how many questions that you wanna create, and it depends how you want to ask it. There are example on the page. Let me go ahead and find it. So if you go to the lecture Canvas page, um, it has the detailed. There are something that you have to do. You have to ask like 10 people to take the survey, but you can read all the details if you go, I think, to the week 4. I'm trying to find it. Let me see. Nope. I think whether no, exercise 3. No.
So just to clarify, I already got the 10 surveys. I'm not supposed to create my own questions though, right?
No. That's the create your own question is a practice that we do for the lab. So here is the exercise right here. Actually, it's exercise number 5. So self-esteem survey by 10 p.m. and then you have the instructions here, and then the background information that we are working on here. So this completely explain, and then your survey could be like 5-10 questions, something like this. You write a question and then you ask them strongly agree, disagree, strongly disagree. This is some sort of a practice because it becomes handy for in future exercises that we have to.
So this is for exercise 4.
Did that answer your question?
Is this for exercise 4? The self-esteem survey?
Yeah, this is for yes, self-esteem. Yes, exactly. So this is the
Because
lab part of the exercise 4.
I can check it again, but for some reason I wasn't able to see like the information, like the instructions for it. Like it was closed, the file.
Give it a try one more time.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll
it's not
try it one
published.
more time.
Yeah, try it one more time. It should be open because I never had anyone tell me it should be open. Maybe if it's not, then I think she closed it. So
It's the
give it a try one
self-esteem
more time.
background information. Oh, okay, I see it now. Yeah, yesterday it wasn't
Yes.
working.
You see it now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. So go ahead and join group number 1 and try to work on the practice.
So sorry, just to make sure. So the
Yes.
background information
Yeah.
handout, that's what I'm completing for exercise 4. Or is that different?
That one has too much detail on it, just for you to understand. But the only thing that I want you guys to do is come up with 5 or 10 questions and to to really try to study based on the survey that you're going to ask student how they value and how they think self-esteem affects personality traits behavior of people. So you're designing 5 to 10 questions depending on how you want to design it and how you want to ask it. So everything is on you, how you want to organize it. But the questions should give you some sort of result that have to be able to study how people understand or how people think of self-esteem and how they think it affects your behavior and personality at the end. And before you ask the 5 or 10 questions, at the beginning of it, you have to write a little background of what self-esteem is and how um, and what it is that we want to start to give them a little background so they know what they're. So it's like you're conducting a survey yourself. So you want to give them a little background, define self-esteem, and then give them instructions. Say, hey, we're studying self-esteem, and we want to ask your opinion. Answer these questions, and then you write the questions, and as a multiple choice question. So you either can do agree, disagree, asking a question, or you can do strongly agree, strongly disagree, and so on and so forth.
So
Again, there's an example of this on the lecture canvas page.
Okay, so for the assignment for self-esteem survey, I would just be typing that out, what their results are, the 10 people that I got.
That you don't have to do anything for that. You can check to see if 10 people took the exam, but Dr. Laughran is going to grade you on that.
Oh, okay, so that's
if you have completed the survey, there's nothing else that you have to.
okay. But so this what you're explaining right now is for the lab today.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
This is only for the lab, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
No
thank you.
Okay, so let's go ahead and cover the answers for the different areas. So for let me just bring my page up to date. Okay. Okay, cool. So for group number one of the area that you looked at was the um, sample area. So what what is it that you guys found that could be considered as a flaw, or you criticize about this research paper?
So when they sent out the survey, they just mentioned that they sent it out to the previous 500 patients. They weren't really like their demographic wasn't really described or anything like that. They didn't specify like the time frame of when they visited the HMOs.
Okay.
And then that could probably affect like how accurately they fill out their surveys, stuff like that. So overall, it's just not very descriptive of the sample, and yeah, it's pretty much the main issue we had.
Yeah, that's correct, but I would mention it as they had 500 visit of HMO. That's so that kind of opens the study to the bias at the beginning. So they evaluate 500 patients, that were HMO, And the problem with that was that they either had some ongoing health problem, or they just have their problem was resolved. So that kind of skew the results of their opinion or the coloring of the results. So that's one thing that you can mention. And the other possible concern is that out of those 500 potential subject, only 390 of them returned the survey. So this could also skew the results. So the 390 people may be more or less motivated to participate in this survey. So either they still are dealing with a problem that it's not resolved, or their problem was resolved. So that kind of color their response. But yeah, good. What about number 2, the constructions of the skill items?
For number 2, we said that the pre-testing questions and patients are not a good reflection of the 500 patients that were surveyed after. And when reading it, we didn't really find as much independent variables because the survey was pretty much sent out the same to all 500 patients through the mail.
Okay. So for number 2, another point that you can mention is the value of the survey depends on the quality of its item, and that raises some concern in the processing that is used to generate these items. Who are the people who are qualified to come up with the items or the questions? What is their background? What makes them qualify? So we see that it doesn't elaborate, the paper doesn't elaborate about these questions. And some of the questions that was asked had some sort of problem, and it was like hard to understand some of them. For example, for items, question number 2 and 14, the vocabulary and wording could be difficult to understand what the question is asking, and some people might have problem with that. Or for example, the length of the question for question 13 and 21. It might be too much for a survey purposes. And also one of the questions, for example, item 15, I think, or the question 15, they use double negatives. And this happens throughout the different questions. For example, question 2, 5, 12, and 15, they use this kind of double negatives that could, skew the results. But good. Okay. What about the reliability of the scale? Number 3.
For the reliability of the scale, we said that the questions are not formatted clearly. Since it was a convenience sample, it was less generalizable to the population that they were trying to have it address. The form of surveying seems consistent because we did not find an independent variable, and that the research question was not clearly stated.
Awesome. And another thing that you can add is that the author or the researcher in the research has to give us that confidence or that guarantee that they took account for the reliability of the questions and the method and everything. But in this case, the author shows no demonstration of the reliability of the test before they send it out. Good. So good job. Any question on those 3 items that we covered for this paper? Okay, so let's go with group number 2. Let's talk about what you guys come up with for the validity of the scale.
So like group 1 mentioned, there's a lot of issues in terms of sampling, and that actually in turn reflects into the questions itself, because if they only ask 20 people for their own opinions of what's important, and then try to then expand it to a survey of 500, then that's too much of a jump to make any meaningful conclusions about the entire like HMO, like the population of the HMO. And then another thing that's question is there wasn't random selection either. They only questioned the last 500 that joined. So just in terms of in time, people could be going into the clinic for actually very similar reasons, and because of that, they all might have the same problems that get resolved the same way, or they have different problems that happen. But pretty much, it's too recent of a time together for these questions to really reflect what people feel in the long run, in the long term. Like their attitudes about their visit may change later on as well. And so, yeah. Last thing is specifically for item 25. We were thinking it might
Yeah,
have
good, perfect.
been. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah. So for 25, we were thinking it was possibly a double-barreled question. Like a lot of the questions, they're really long, but specifically for 25, we were thinking that is it possible that they're answering the second part of the question, which was, I am confident that my health needs are well attended, as opposed to I'm satisfied with the services that I received from this HMO, because it could be that they're receiving help from multiple doctors. Maybe they just think that, oh, I'm answering for, the other doctor that's taking care of me, not for the HMO. So that was a possible issue with item 25. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yep, there's nothing else that I want to add. You covered it pretty good. Let's do, what about the next one? The result and interpretation of the result and analysis. What do you guys think for this area?
Specifically for the analysis and interpretation, we said there are missing results for items having to do with appointments, producing reports, and waiting rooms. And the fact that only numbers listed were for the total response rate. And then item 25 was scored separately, which kind of made it a little weird in that they wanted to make it like one whole result, but they also decided to group number 25 as a whole separate thing. And we also thought that because 25 was introduced in this way, the bias of the I don't want to butcher that word because the auspices or something could have made the results skewed towards a positive attitude than they likely would have agreed to.
That's true. One more thing that I want to add, I don't like the result that they come up with because the reader were only told only few items, and they were not really given any information or any background information about variability of the responses of various items. So because of that, I can't really trust the final results that they come up with. But the points that you covered was great also. And what about ethics?
So far, we weren't able to spot any type of glaring issues with this paper. And so far that we think they did their best efforts in trying to conceal identity and keeping as confidential as possible. Maybe a small issue that could come up is that they didn't specifically disclose their methods of disposing of the surveys after. So we just have to trust that they did their due diligence in getting rid of the papers, making sure no identifiable information could be tracked down, or it could be tracked down to any other person that sent in the survey. But yeah, other than that, we think it's fine.
Okay. So one thing that you could talk about as the issue is their, privacy issue of the subject, is that the author doesn't provide any information of how the identity of each subject is secure, or whether how they whether they use code or last name or something like that to really understand. And then since they already told us that the subject is 500 subject from the HMO, So that kind of exposed their confidentiality of the research. But yeah, that is also correct. Any question, any concern, any comments about everything that we covered? So you might want to understand this type of exercises that you might see something like this on the exam for the short answer question. So it might, we might ask you, the question what might ask you for, tell us about the sampling of this research, and you have to write it down as a short answer. So the question could be really general, but the main purpose is that you understand and be able to internalize the information that is given for for a higher level reading, so you can understand it, criticize it and ask question, and possibly find flaws or something that is unclear. Any question, concern, comments before we move on? Okay, so the last part of the lab that we are going to do, so let me go ahead and share my screen. If you guys go onto the Canvas page for the lab part, let's see. So the Canvas page, week 6, scroll down to the lab item. Is this? I think we have to go week 7. No, where's the lab item? Yeah, there we go. So under week 6, the last topic that we're going to cover in the lab today, it's going to be gender perception and background. If you go ahead and open that, the third link from the top, you should be able to see this page, this research method, or this research paper. And it's about gender perception. There is a research that talks about the facial features and how it helps us to, to have an understanding of women and male faces, and what it is that we look at in order to tell, at the first glance that, this is this face is a women face or this is men face. And they ran an experiment. It's a short article if you wanted to read it. They run different experiment. One, they asked participant to and they measured the time that they answer whether this face belongs to a man or a female, and they use 3 different setting. The first setting, or the first condition, they show the full view, or they show the full face of the person. On the second setting or second condition, they only show the eyes, and on the third setting they only show the mouth, and they time the amount of time that takes a participant or subject to tell and be able to differentiate between male and female. And it talks about the design. It tells us that there are 2 independent variable and 1 dependent variable. The independent variable are facial cues, and the dependent variable is whether it's a male or female. They use 8 subjects each for female and 8 subjects for male that ask the participant, and then they create a data sheet to keep track, and they came up with the results. So this is just some sort of a background before we jump in into something else. So I instead of you guys reading it, I just gave you a summary of what's going on. So, but if you go to the last link, and this is something that you have to submit today to earn your points. If you go to gender perception instructions, you should be able to see this page. And this is that we also covered it last time too. I'm not sure if you guys remember. I think most of you guys should have an account on this page. So if you use the link right here, it should give you, it should open up this page. And you are student, you have to make an account. I think most of you guys have it because we did it before. So, but if you haven't, you have to go through that process one more time. Again, on this page or the link that we use on the Canvas, it has the detailed instructions of what you have to do. So if you don't have an account, you go under students, you log in. Do not use the Google account. You have to create an account right here for the website, because otherwise it's going to take you someplace else. So let me go ahead and show you guys on the website. So if you go on the website using the link, click on the student login. Do not use the login with Google. Use this username and password. If you already have an account, just log in. If you don't have an account, it's going to ask you to create an account. So if you press on the create an account, it's going to ask you for your information, first name, last name. You come up with the username, email address, and come up with the password. And you press this box that you have agreed to the privacy policy, and you create an account. So once you do, it should open up this page again. For those that you have done this, it should look familiar. And then you are going to do a social experiment survey. It's going to ask you, so this is the item that we're going to do. So you click on this, and then it's going to ask you for the class ID. Your class ID is already mentioned here, 837448. It's already on the document. So you press that, and then you're going to answer questions, which it should be quick. And then after you're done, you save your work, again following these instructions, which is pretty straightforward. And after you save your work, it's going to give you a unique number. It's a 13-digit number that it's going to give you. And then after you earn that 13-digit number, you log out. You take a screenshot of that 13-digit number, and you submit it to the Canvas, and then you log out. For any reason, if you don't get that 13 number digit, it's because you signed up as instructor. So you have to go back and sign up as students, just in case, if that was your case, that was the case for you. After you got that 13-digit number, you take a screenshot, take a picture with your laptop or your cell phone, and upload that right here onto the Canvas page. If you go to under assignment, right here, lab 2 week 6 submission, and you'll be able to upload your information or the screenshot here to earn today for your lab participation today. Any questions, any concern, any comments? It should be pretty straightforward. We still have time, about, I don't know, 1 hour. I'll be here. You are free to leave. You have till today, 11:59 to submit your 13-digit number onto Canvas. And that's it for today. Any questions, any concern, any comments?
So for the first part of
again, I'll be here. Yes.
Yeah, we just submit like the Google Doc of like what we put down for our three critiques, right?
No, you don't submit anything for the the critics. The thing that you're gonna submit is the survey that we came up with last time, and then the exercise that I just mentioned.
And for the survey, we submit our referral codes that are, or what do we submit exactly for the survey?
No, the survey question that we came up with last time. So you shared your survey questions, and I gave you guys some instruction to fix it and edit it to make it, to update it. So you submit that updated version. So either you can submit it, or you choose one person in your group to put all of your name on it and then submit it as one person.
Because last time I got here kind of late, so I wasn't here for that part of like the lab. So would I just not get credit for it this time?
You can come up with the survey. Just
Okay.
you can create your own survey. Write the background. The survey is about the information, again, is on the Canvas page, on the lecture Canvas page. So you come up with few questions that you try to understand and measure how UCI students value self-esteem and how they think it contributes to your behavior and personality. So
Okay.
you give them a intro, a little background of what self-esteem is, and then instructions of, okay, I'm trying to study self-esteem and how it relates to personality and behavior, and please answer this question. So you're kind of creating your own survey in order to study that subject.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you submit that to the campus page. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions?
So for the survey itself, we did have people that worked on it last week, but they're not here today. So they could still get credit for it. Well, right?
That's why, if you know their name, just put it up there. First name, last name, it doesn't matter. But if you don't know, it's okay. So they'll reach back to me.
Okay, yeah. The names are already on there. Just double checking.
Okay. All
right, thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? Okay, guys, I'll be here for the entire hour. You're welcome to stay and work on your homework, or you're free to leave. Anyway, let me know if you have any questions. I'll be here.